So welcome back to my new video. This year, I'm going to be doing a lot of videos on Kubernetes. So I'm going to start with the fundamental, the basic from scratch. I'll start with ports. Probably a lot of you guys know what Kubernetes is, so I don't want to go to the basics, the definitions and all that. So I'm going to start with ports. So what are ports? Ports are the fundamental Kubernetes work unit, and then they can run on one or more containers. And then port containers share resources like storage, network, and also run on the same node. So as you can see, there's how is it? Is it hexagon? Yeah. So as you can see, this is the node. The bigger diagram is the node, and then within the node we have like 4 ports, and each of these ports have their own IP addresses signed to them by Kubernetes. And then within each of these ports, you can have a volume and then a container. So with this pod, you have one storage and then 2 containers. And this one has just 1 container. This one has 1 container and 1 storage. We're going to be learning about persistent volume and persistent volume claims. So I'm not going to go deep into that. And then as you can see, the bigger pod has 2 volumes and then 3 containers. So these are the green ones are the containerized app, and then the violet ones are the volume. And within each of these nodes, you have Kubernetes and then Docker runtime engine running on them. Yeah, so basically that is the idea of port. And also remember that ports run on ports. They have ports, container ports that they run on. So this is the basic definition of any port. Okay, you have the API version, the kind, and then the kind, as you can see, it's a port, and then the metadata is called Nginx, and then the specification section, you have containers, and you can have multiple containers. As you can see, it's a list, so this is just 1 container. And then the name of the container is Nginx, and then the image is Nginx 1.14.2, and then this Nginx is going to be running on this port, container port 80. Okay, so that is the idea behind or the description of a port. So as you can see, this I'm not trying to do any advert for this company, but I'm just using it for illustration purposes only. And so as you can see, this container, you can refer to this red container as your port. And then inside the port, you have this washing soaps at your containers, and these containers will be running inside this port. Okay, and then you can have multiple containers running inside this port. Okay, yeah, so basically that is it for ports. So I have a Kubernetes cluster provision on Microsoft Azure. So I'm going to switch to the terminal, and then I'm going to show you how you can create a pod, a simple or a single pod. Okay. So let me switch to my terminal. Share. Okay, so currently I'm in my terminal. So as you can see, this is my current working directory. And then I'm going to check the cluster that I have. So I'm going to say kubectl get nodes, output is wide. Okay, so as you can see, I have two Kubernetes node running. So this is node 1, node 2, and they are all ready. And then I'm using Kubernetes version 1.2.1.9 internal IP. The OS image is Ubuntu 18, and then the kernel, and then it's running containerd runtime, but remember it's not running Docker runtime engine. Okay, so I'm going to create an nginx port. So the command is kube. So with Kubernetes, you can run your command either through imperative or declarative. So I'm going to show you both of them. So I'm going to say kubectl. So kubectl is a command that interacts with the Kubernetes API. Okay, so just going to say kubectl run nginx, and then I'm going to say dry run, and dry run is to output to a YAML file or display to a YAML in the terminal. Okay, so if I run this, so you can see the output. This is the output. I can redirect this output to a file. So I can say redirect to pod.yaml. So as you can see, this is the pod. If I say cat pod, you see that's the content. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I'm going to say I'm going to do it two ways. So I'm going to just run this, and then the namespace, I'm going to specify the namespace as what default. But even if I don't specify the namespace, the pod is going to be run inside the default namespace. So I'm going to say enter. Okay, so it says it already exists. So I'm going to delete it first. kubectl delete pod nginx. Okay, so pod is deleted. Okay, so it's deleted. So I'm going to rerun this again. So the pod is created. So we can say kubectl get pods. So as you can see, the pod is running. You see 13 seconds ago. And then on this node 1, you see 0001. So we didn't schedule this pod on this node, but there's a scheduler inside Kubernetes that determines where pods should be run. So we can also do it manually, but that is going to be a future lesson that we're going to be talking about, scheduling toleration and taints and things like that. So I think that is it. It's running. I'm going to cancel that, and then we can also say kubectl. We can forward the port and then visualize it inside our browser. So we're gonna say Nginx. So if we forward this port, what did they say? Okay, say permission denied, unable to create listener. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, I think there's something wrong with the binding. So let's forget about the binding for now. So what we can do here is let's exec into this port, this running port, so that we can run the Nginx locally instead of forwarding the port, and then we visualize the Nginx status on the browser. We're going to exec into it. So we're going to say kubectl exec it, and then we're going to say port Nginx -bash. If I got it. Okay. Okay, so right now we are inside the port right now. So what we can do here is we can say curl localhost. So once we do that, we can see that we have the results back as what, welcome to Nginx, and then the header tag is welcome to Nginx, and then the body, you see this part say thank you. So meaning that our Nginx port is running. Okay, so I'm going to exit out of the container or the port, and yeah, so I think that is all for port. As we go along with deployment and config maps and all the other Kubernetes components, we'll learn more powerful stuff. So stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.